The Planning and Zoning Committee public hearing to order. My name is Mary Beth Gabbard, and I am the Vice Chairman of the Planning and Zoning Committee. Our chairman cannot be here this evening. I represent District 12, which consists of the towns of Oshkosh and part of the city of Oshkosh. In a moment, I will ask the members of the committee to introduce themselves, and will also ask the zoning staff to introduce themselves and explain the appeals procedure. The hearing process is as follows. Please turn off or silence your mobile phones. All testimony is given for the record. Please come forward when recognized, and you will be sworn in by our court reporter, Karen. When talking, please speak clearly so that all in attendance can hear what you have to say. When you are giving your testimony, please state your position for or against the item that you are testifying on. The committee doesn't want conversation between members of the audience. If you feel the need to have a conversation with other individuals, we would ask that you leave the room and utilize another area of the building. If you have questions of a particular speaker, please come forward and ask your questions of the committee, and we will try to find out the answers for you. The committee will make its decision at the deliberative meeting to be held on July 7th, 2023. As with all county meetings, it is an open meeting. However, no additional testimony will be given at that time. This meeting is the one and only opportunity to present testimony for the record. The deliberative meeting is in the county admin building, this building on Otter Street, room 120 at 7:30 a.m. If you need assistance with anything, please call the zoning department or the county clerk's office.
Okay, I'm Howie Miller. I represent District 36, which is the towns of Wolf River, Winchester, and the western part of Clayton.
Good evening, I'm Tom Egan, and I represent District 33, which consists of the town of Rexford, Huygen, part of the town of Arboro, Epiescum, and part of the town of Utica.
I'm Brian O'Rourke, the land use planner for the county.
I'm Daniel LaFave, Assistant Zoning Administrator here with Winnebago County. The appeals process for a code amendment, either map or text, is as follows. 1, anyone wishing to protest a zoning map amendment needs to do so at least 24 hours prior to the item being considered by the county board. That's per state statute 5969. Contact the zoning office during normal working hours and staff will assist with this procedure. And 2, an aggrieved person may appeal a final decision relative to a code amendment, either text or map amendment, by filing an appeal with a court of competent jurisdiction within 30 days of the final decision.
Okay, item number 1. Stephen Kratz, parcels north and south of Dutchess Lane, town of Algoma, zoning map amendment. Does anyone from the audience want to speak on this?
Before we start, I do have a email from the applicant requesting that this item be moved to the July public hearing.
Okay, but since you're all here and it's public hearing, we're going to have
Of course.
anybody that wants to speak can speak. So if you'd like to come forward and get sworn in, please. And then
It's right now. Please tell us where the statements you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
State your name and address.
John Brad. I live on 1505 Hayden Drive. I don't know what going on. My first question is, who is actually the lead person on this group? I know you guys are not. Who's the lead person? Who's the boss?
Well, she would be right now.
She would be the boss right now. Okay,
right now, yeah.
okay, no, that's fine. My second question is, how much power do you have to make decisions for that particular area of the county? I would have expected the town of Algoma to make that decision. You get the letter from the county. Now, my problem is I don't have nothing against building new facilities, especially if they're single family. I'm for it. I understand why. I've been in the industry all my life. I have my hands full. 35 years, thank God I'm out of there, but. What I'm looking for is, do you people, as a county, have enough power to make big decision for that area, or actually will have to go down to town of Algoma? Who can answer that? Because then I'll have to address my real questions.
This committee will make the decision at the deliberative.
Okay,
And yes, we have the authority to make a decision to either approve or not approve this item.
well, I understand that, and I understand, if you approve it, they will build the homes. 30 acres, they will probably give us about 60 buildings minimum, which will be a tax base for the town of Algoma and for the county. Because I know you guys are cleaning my street for snow in the winter. Now, the problem is, they will be using heavy equipment on a Duchess for building. I've been in my life, all my life, taking care of the heavy equipment. And I understand what the big, heavy construction equipment does to the road. It's a 4-inch road because the town of Algoma told me that. And I had to pay the bill. And I don't want to pay the bill again. Because the developer, the owner of the property, never had to pay anything toward that. And I know the bid was thousands of dollars and was split among the neighborhoods. How are you guys gonna be able to get money, 100,000 put on the side, just in case they damage the road? Because I don't want to pay for it again.
That would be between the town of Algoma and the applicant.
So you guys don't have that kind of power. Now, the kind of power that you guys do have and should be able to have is that the only exit out there besides the piers, which people don't use, most of the people are using it right by my house. It's already heavy traffic. Now, are you guys proposing to have another exit road someplace else? So you will eliminate some. The reason I'm saying this, don't look away, I'm talking to you,
He's running the meeting.
but I'm talking to you.
Okay.
There wasn't, every morning I'm leaving up between 7 and 8 o'clock. I go to the gym and the traffic is horrendous on Leonard Point Road because all the traffic comes out. Duchess, and now, if you're putting in so many buildings out there, the same people who use up there, now you're putting for each house probably 1 or 2 cars extra. That was nice during the time when the county put in a light on 21 and Leonard Point Road. Well, there's no more. Now in the morning when I get out, I have to sneak in because the Umbro people are driving 70. The sheriff department does a job to the best of their ability once in a while. But between Leonard Point Road and a curve that comes from Umbro, doing 70, it's just a few seconds. I have to sneak in order to get it. And that's not right. Now, all you guys are doing is are proposing to develop some more and put more families in there. Now, you're still building on the west side of the Apple Orchard subdivision. That's not done. So there'll be more people coming in. You will have to figure out the roads. My opinion, I've been there, I've done that. Now it's your turn to do it. That's all I have to say. I want some answers on those. Just looking at me is not sufficient. I know my neighbors up here probably would want to know that also. Thank you.
All we're doing tonight is looking at this, but the CSM that I have in front of me, and what was described on Friday was 4 lots.
Correct.
Anybody else want to speak?
Here?
Go ahead. That works.
Just outside.
Yeah, that's my question.
Statements you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, it is.
State your name and address.
Myron, M-Y-R-O-N, Demet, D-I-M-M-E-T-T.
3870 Brayburn Street. 3873 Brayburn. Okay. My only question is the 30 acres, and I'm taking that information off the signage that's there. What is the intent of how that land will be developed? Is it going to be single family homes, apartments, high-rise apartments, multifamily units, condos? Do we know that yet?
All we have before us is a zoning change from A2 general ag to R2 suburban residential district for the creation of new lots.
And as the gentleman said before, the traffic on Leonard Point Road right now is very, very busy. And it's only gonna get more busy as more cars have to use that to exit the area where we live. And the risk of auto accidents. Now, I don't know what they're gonna do with that intersection of Leonard Point and Highway 21. Heard rumor that it's gonna have a roundabout there to maybe slow things down a bit. I don't know, but my concern is the density of housing that's gonna be on that 30 acres. You know, they're single family homes, you know, there was nothing there when my home was built, so, you know, single family homes are all around me. And I have no objection to that, it's just the higher density things that would be a concern. That's all I have. But we don't know, we don't know what sort of
R2 would indicate single family homes.
single family, okay. All right. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak on? Subject matter?
How about on Zoom? Anybody on Zoom, please unmute and notify us if you'd like to speak. Anybody on Zoom, not hearing anybody? If you wish to talk, please unmute yourself. Nothing.
Everybody's done in the audience. Okay, then we'll proceed to ask for a motion to post.
It's a request from the owners.
Yeah.
Postpone this item number 1 for the town of Algoma, Stephen Cross, until the July 25th public hearing, at which time you could come in and speak if you wish.
Say that last part again, I'm sorry.
We're gonna have a motion to postpone this to the next public hearing, which is July 25th here,
Sounds good.
and you're welcome to come again and speak again.
Are you gonna get the owner there?
And what?
The owner?
They'll have,
Yes,
It's being adjourned because the owner requested it because he couldn't be here. So as far as we understand, he intends to be here.
Okay, but you said 7:30?
6:30, same time, same
same
place.
time as the, just July 25th.
I will make that motion to go to July 25th from Stephen Kratz.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? It is postponed until July 25th at 6:30 in this room. We'll move on to item 2. Scholar Ridge Estates, parcel south of intersection at County Road II and Martin Drive, Town of Clayton, preliminary plat. Anybody, audience here to speak on that one?
Anybody on Zoom who would like to speak on the second item, please unmute and speak. Once again, we have not heard anybody. Please say something.
What's the second about it?
It's a subdivision.
Anybody here for the subdivision plat? Please speak now. Okay, nope.
Does the committee have any comments or questions?
No.
No?
So I don't know what information you were told, but when they applied for the plat, these two intermittent streams shown on the plat were not navigable, which meant They didn't have to worry about shore yard, impervious surface, or anything like that. The DNR went out to review the site for their chapter 30 permit. While they were out there, they did a navigability determination on these two intermittent streams that you see here and determined it navigable. That changed everything for all of these lots that are abutting adjacent to the stream. Because anything that's adjacent to the navigable body of water or entirely within 300 feet of the creek are limited to 15% impervious surface area, which includes driveways, sidewalks, homes, gravel, any of that stuff. At first blush, it looks like the way they've got this set up now, these lots along that creek here are not going to be big enough to accommodate a home in year 2023. Carrie and Daniel and I had a conference call with McMahon, their engineer, their surveyor, and their planner. And at the end of the conversation, we had them understand, they were disappointed. So now what's going to happen is they need a variance for the road to go over the creek in every crossing. So that's one here, and one out by II. Because this wasn't shored land when they applied, and now it is, we did not have a zoning district designated for this area. It was white on our GIS because it was not our zoning jurisdiction. We can't just go and throw an R2 yellow on here. They have to do a zoning change to get the R2. The county is going to do the zoning change because this happened through no fault of their own. They are going to sponsor the variance. As soon as we can get the zoning changed and variance, the public hearing is August. So staff is requesting we adjourn this for 60 days until our August hearing, which means the variance would be on BOA's agenda, the zoning change for this would be on your agenda, and then all of these things can happen at the same time. They're aware of it. They weren't happy. We understand that, but this was as a result of the DNR determining this navigable. We told them the first thing you should do is try and get a second opinion about the navigability. Because before this was navigable, this was a cookie cutter subdivision, really. But once that turned navigable, it changed everything, and they know that they're going to lose quite a few lots along that creek. So staff is requesting a 60-day adjournment of this item for your August public hearing.
What is chapter 30?
Is that for the erosion?
It's for erosion, waterways, wetlands type of deal.
It's kind of an all-encompassing
Yeah.
permit that the DNR does.
Is it normal that, they're part of the plat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's part of, they're
Yeah.
on every one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the developer was a little irritated because they didn't make the request to do the determination. But the DNR was just doing their job. They're out there looking at everything else. I don't fault them for that. It's just now in their opinion, this is now navigable and before it wasn't, so.
And they can't do their, I don't want to use the word survey, but their look-see at this until they have a document.
I
that
believe
means-
they've already looked at it, but at the end of the day, they realize that all these lots that are along this creek aren't nowhere near large enough to accommodate for that 15% of pervious surface. So there's gonna be they're gonna have to kind of start over from square one. So,
And the developer bears that cost.
yeah. Yep.
Okay. I guess that's all the questions I have. Do either of you gentlemen?
Bad.
This is the first time this has happened where we went this way,
From nothing to something.
from nothing to navigable. 99% of the time it's from navigable to not navigable. So this kind of threw a monkey wrench into the works for this one.
Does anybody know what is the definition of a nav? Is that in a code?
I believe from what the DNR has stated in the past, that you need to be able to float a kayak boat, small watercraft on it for one day out of the
day.
year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah. That's what we know from what their navigability
That's a
is.
lot of ditches in Winnebago County.
We have a lot of.
And
those.
farm fields.
I have one out by me.
By me too.
I didn't make the rule.
So there's a lot of stuff that needs to go on behind the scenes before we even think about reviewing this and approving or denying, so.
So will they have to apply for the variance?
They are gonna take care of the variance. We are going to sponsor the zoning change because this happened through no fault of their own.
Okay,
So the county's gonna sponsor the zoning change part of it. So we need a motion to adjourn.
so
In a second.
I need a motion to adjourn this for 60 days,
Yeah. August.
August.
or the August
Yeah.
public.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this to the August, what is it, 29th, I
I
believe,
believe so, yes.
Yeah.
meeting.
August.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Scholar Ridge Estates preliminary plat to the August 29th public hearing. Any more discussion? None? All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
will second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
I.
Aye.